and you're welcome to this segment. There is this cancer you may think you may have heard of, but you may not know the causes or even how it came about. And that is why we have a professor and a doctor here to discuss this with us and give us a know-how. Now, Professor Jonathan Dakubo, he is the Associate Professor of Surgery, University of Ghana Medical School, UGMC, and also Consultant General and Colorectal Surgeon at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, founder and CEO at MWIN, Tuba Hospital, and Coloproctology Center. Wow, that is a mouthful. Professor, you're welcome. And then also we have Dr. Kwabena Agbedinu, Consultant General Surgeon at Okomfanoche Teaching Hospital. Gentlemen, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
I hope you're enjoying the Heritage Month.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've been watching our Heritage Caravan and what we have been doing so far.
Yes.
You wish you were on the Heritage Caravan.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be prepared and prepped for next year.
That's right.
Please come and pay ahead. If you do not come and pay ahead and you're on leave, by the time you realize we have been booked. So please make sure you're coming and tell a friend to tell a friend.
We will certainly do that.
Awesome. Professor, I have heard about it, but I really want to know what colorectal cancer is.
Yeah, by the term cancer, we are referring to a growth which you say is malignant, a growth that has the ability to spread to any part of the body, settle there, grow, consume the person's energy, exhaust the person, and the person dies. So it's a disease that, if you leave unattended to, ultimately leads into death. So you can have cancer of any part of the body.
Right.
But we are interested in cancer that affect the large intestine. That is the colon and the rectum. So those cancers are a special type of cancers which have their own peculiar developments, presentations, and treatments that we think that we should canvass about for people to know they exist in our country and they are causing a havoc to our people, and we should find a way of dealing with them.
Now, how prevalent is it, doctor?
Oh, colorectal cancer is very common. Worldwide, it's the third most common cancer. And if you consider cancer that cause death, it's the second most common cancer worldwide. And in terms of the prevalence, about 1.9 million people get colorectal cancer every year. And out of this, about 900,000 of them will die, roughly about half. So it shows how aggressive that cancer is and how common it is. And in Ghana, as my prof said the last time, about 3,000 new cases are recognized here. Even I think it's more than that because we don't have the system to really know them. That's why we are here today to talk about it. And out of this, about half will die from colorectal cancer.
Wow, this is quite sad. I'll ask the cause. I really want to know the cause because my father died from colon cancer and we thought it was ulcer. And we started treating him for ulcer. By the time it was at the third stage, it was too late. So let's know what causes colorectal cancer, colon and rectum cancer.
Yeah, for many cancers, we don't know the exact cause. We may know the risk factors and we will know what has gone wrong in the human body for the cancer to develop. But what actually triggered the cancer, it is still a subject of intense research. For colon cancer, we know about 5% of them, it is due to inheritance of a gene that has been mutated. And then that gene is passed on from parents to children. And then the children will develop other mutations for the cancer to develop. So for those ones, we know it is from hereditary cause. And that's about 5%. The remaining 95% of these cancers, we don't know what caused them. But we know predisposing factors that can lead to them, or risk factors that can lead to them.
And what are the risk factors?
Okay. So lifestyle is a major risk factor, for instance. The ones that is under your purview that you can do something about. If you consider diet, for instance, it's known that high consumption of red meat, beef, pork, that is on ascendancy now, is a common risk factor for colon and rectal cancers. If you consider smoking, for instance, those who smoke are at risk of developing this cancer. Obesity is known to be a risk factor for colon cancer, high consumption of fatty diet. So you have to look at that. And that one you can control yourself. Lack of exercise is known to be a risk factor for it. These are under your ability to do something about alcohol consumption, these lifestyle changes that we can come in. That's why we are here to talk about it. These are all risk factors that we can do something about.
Can we say that colorectal cancer is a uniform disease, or it has states?
Yeah, it is not a uniform disease per se. But just to add to what he has said, age alone is a risk factor. Age alone. So by the 6th decade of life, the incidence goes up rapidly. Then he spoke about diet. People consume low fiber diet. High fiber diet is very protective for us. So age is important, and that is why in the campaign we are saying that anybody who is aged 45 years and above, you have to start screening for colorectal cancer because your risk has increased dramatically from that age. Yeah, we treat it as a, it's not a uniform disease because you see, colon cancer is one of its own where you need at least 5 mutations to occur for the cancer to develop.
Interesting.
And as of today, about 131 mutations, gene mutations are associated with that cancer. So every cancer has its own permutations of mutations that have occurred in it. And the mutations, some of them confer the initial development of the cancer. Some confer the ability for it to grow very fast. Some confer ability for it to spread to other places and settle there. So we have genes which are specific for metastasis. We don't know them, but we know they exist. So no two cancers are about the same. But once we know they behave almost the same way, we treat it as though it's one cancer, but it's a heterogeneity of cancers. That so you can catch somebody's cancer very big, but it hasn't got the ability to spread. So that if you remove the cancer properly, you have cured the person. Somebody's cancer may be very small, but has developed mutations that make it spread very fast. You need chemotherapy, radiotherapy, everything, and still the outcomes are not good. So that's why I want to catch the cancers very early to be sure that the mutations that are in the tumor have not reached a stage where it can spread.
Doc, what are the stages and what are the ones that are commonly seen in Ghana, especially in Ghanaian patients?
Interestingly, we usually see what we call the late stage of the disease.
The what?
The late stage of the disease. Over 70% of our patients come in at the latter end of the disease, and that is a big challenge. But the stages, you can group them into broadly an early stage, which we prefer. And most of the time, for you to cut the early stages, you have to talk about screening. And I know we'll get there to talk about screening. Then we have the second stage called locally advanced. They are in a place, but there are other structures around that they might have gone into. Then the late stage, the metastatic stage, are gone beyond where they are. You know, Dr. Prof mentioned that for a cancer, it can spread beyond where it finds itself. You can go to your chest, you can go to your liver, though it might not be from there originally. And this is the cancer is located in the colon and the rectum. But unfortunately, in Ghana, most of our cases come in at the later stages of the disease.
And what are the accounts of the late presentation of the stages?
It is because of misrepresentation of the early symptoms of the disease. So the human membrane, lining membrane, is one continuous membrane. We call it epithelial membrane. It's one. From the skin through our mouth all the way down to our anus and all this, one membrane. And that membrane, if it is not broken, there is no bleeding. But once it is broken, there is bleeding. And in the colon and anus, there are so many diseases that present with bleeding. And hemorrhoids is one of them. Diverticular disease, angiodysplasia, so fissures, they all present with bleeding. And the most notorious of them all is the hemorrhoids, which is also very common from age 30 upwards. So from age 30, many people's hemorrhoids start bleeding. And once they have been told they have hemorrhoids or they believe they have hemorrhoids, every bleeding at defecation is considered as hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
And the earliest symptom of colorectal cancer is also bleeding.
Bleeding.
When other symptoms are not present. So people will interpret that bleeding as being from their hemorrhoids is when the additional symptoms start showing. Then they are investigating. At that time, it is late. So that's why our second message is that if you have noticed blood in your stool, don't hesitate to do a colonoscopy.
Right.
Because once you have seen blood, even if it's hemorrhoids,
Yeah.
you want to be sure we're not missing something else.
Yeah. Doctor, please, you
To-
have
to
what other
add to that,
features? Yes.
Just to make the emphasis that not all bleeding is from hemorrhoid. It's a major challenge for us. And you know, Ghanaians, they think everything is piles.
Yeah.
So they see a blood, they go to the herbalist, they get some herbal medications and treat it. And for a long time, they'll be treating it, and a cancer is what was there, and to infiltrate other structures. And by the time they come to us,
It's too late.
Other symptoms, what we call a change in the bowel habit. You know, everybody has a usual bowel habit, maybe once in a day,
Yeah.
or somebody takes 2 days before they
3
go
weeks.
to the loo. Somebody's normal.
Yeah.
So if you notice a change in your usual bowel habit, it's something to be aware of. It might be towards constipation or towards diarrhea. Now it's more frequent than normal. You will notice an unexplained weight loss.
Yeah.
You are not doing exercise to lose weight, but you are losing weight and you cannot tell why. Also, you notice that you are now weak. The blood, sometimes the blood is so small that in the stool, you are not seeing it,
Right.
but there's blood in the stool. So you get weak, you walk a short distance, you are tired. You need to come for us to investigate further.
Okay, so I wanted us to go through the imageries that were being shown on the TV right now so we could explain them further. Now, this very one, please, could you give us details?
Yeah, so this is a colonoscopy showing the large bowel. And if you see, the lower part looks smooth, but the upper part is like very mountainous. That is a cancer in the colon.
Hi.
So as soon as you see a thing like this, you just have to take a biopsy, and then we have to stage it, and we have to treat it. So this is showing you a colon cancer.
Wow.
Now
How
this
about-
one, you see that bump down there. It's also a colonoscopy, and this is the transverse colon, a part of the colon called the transverse colon. That bump there is called a polyp, because the colon cancers, they just start with a polyp, and the polyp is not cancer.
Okay.
This polyp has gene mutations that have allowed it to grow. Other gene mutations will occur in this polyp for it to now develop into the cancer that as we saw. Now, if we can find these polyps and remove all of them, then the cancer will not develop.
Right.
And these polyps also present with bleeding. So if somebody is bleeding and you go inside and you see this polyp, you take it out, you have blocked the progression of the polyp into a cancer. So this is just to demonstrate how we do colonoscopy, how painless it is, so that we can screen your colon properly.
So that's a camera going down
Yeah, yes,
there.
it's a tube with a camera at the end and a light source that makes a C inside the colon, as if there's any disease there, you will find it and pick it.
This is interesting. How about this one?
This
We saw
one
it
is
first.
just a cartoon to show that there is a cancer in the rectum. So basically, this is the organ we're talking about. This is a large bowel, starting from where the appendix is, all the way around to where the rectum is and the anus, to
Right.
show that there is a cancer in the rectum.
Okay, so I've realized that there are increasing numbers, as you stated early on. Also, the colorectal surgeons. How many do we really have in this country?
That is the challenge that we are working on as a nation and as a people. Up to now, we did not have dedicated colorectal surgeons. What we had was general surgeons who were doing the colorectal surgery. And the general surgeon operates everywhere, the neck, the breast, the abdomen, all the organs. But there is a paradigm shift of late in all academic institutions to have subspecialty areas in surgery. So since 2014 at the Colorectal Teaching Hospital, we have broken down into subspecialty units:
Right.
breast, upper GI, hepatobiliary, colorectal, vascular, endocrine, and hernia. And we took up the responsibility to train colorectal surgeons for this country. And we've gone far. We have trained somebody who has now been certified as a trainer of trainers. And then last year, the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, in collaboration with our external partners for the United States, have developed an official academic training program for colorectal surgeons. And I'm happy to tell you that our first student is Dr.
Doc, congratulations. Congratulations.
Who has been sent to us from Kumasi to train as a colorectal. So he's going to be the first certified colorectal surgeon in Ghana here. In Ghana.
Congratulations.
So we're going to start another center in Kumasi. And then next year, or this year actually, July, we're going to take 2 more students to train. My hope is that in the next 5 years, I shall train about 10 colorectal surgeons for Ghana.
Congratulations, and we wish you all the best. I really wish we could continue this further, to go into further discussions, the screening and the rest, but I'm sure you definitely come another time for us to talk about it so we can make other people aware of how dangerous colorectal cancer can be. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. Prof and Doc, we are grateful. We have been speaking to Professor Jonathan Dakubo. He's Associate Professor of Surgery, University of Ghana Medical School, Consultant General and Colorectal Surgeon at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and also the name of the hospital is Mintuba Hospital and Coloproctology Center. And he came along with the first colorectal surgeon that we have, Dr. Kwabena Agbedinu, Consultant General Surgeon, Kolebu Teaching Hospital.